What's good, YouTube? Today is Friday, July 18th, and what I'm here to talk about is Shakur Stevenson being rated over Tank Davis because of they saying he should have lost because he took a knee when he fought Lamount Roach, and now he's supposed to be better. Shakur is supposed to be better than Tank Davis because the fighter that Lamont Roach lost to, Shakur Stevenson beat. And at the same time, while we dig and delve deep inside of these things, I just want to know if is this even about boxing anymore, or if this is just about people pushing their narratives and just coming to the boxing world, just saying any and everything that they want to say out of their desire, right? So now, Gervonta Davis has got himself into some legal situations again, dealing with family issues, right? Now, I don't know the validity in what's being said, or the integrity of the statements that's going against him as far as his outside life. But what I would say is your outside life doesn't have nothing to do with your inside life in a ring, although it can reflect on certain things and hurt certain things, but that doesn't necessarily define who you are as a fighter. Because we are human beings, ain't none of us perfect. So I'm not going to run with the narrative of, oh, he beat this girl up and we don't know what happened. We wasn't there. You understand what I'm saying? That's why they have court. People fight through the facts and fact finding, and they figure out what's the facts, what's right or wrong. But shouts out to Shakur Stevenson because he representing Newark. I'm from Newark. Shouts out to Tank Davis representing Baltimore. Like, he ain't no slouch. I'm a fan of Tank. I'm a fan of Shakur Stevenson. I just don't think that the way that they rating Shakur on Tank level is just moving way too fast, because when Shakur was at 130, Shakur was saying when he moved up, he was already going to take over the division. Now, if you at 130 and you go to 135 and your objective is to take over the division, beat everybody, right? Not the fighters that Tank just beat, but beat everybody in the division, and then hold your hand up in the air and say, like, I want to do this and I want to do that. I don't see the narrative being pushed like that. Now, I would say this. If Tank doesn't do this rematch with Lamont Roach, if Tank don't do this rematch with if Tank don't do this rematch with Lamont Roach, then I think Shakur Stevenson should fight Lamont Roach. And if Shakur Stevenson is victorious against Lamont Roach, then that will put him on a better negotiation mountain to equal out the star power between Tank and Shakur, forcing a fight. You understand what I'm saying? Forcing a fight. But I don't believe that Shakur just straight up deserved a Tank fight, because the opponents that he beat in the 135 division doesn't count to nothing that Tank did. It doesn't add up to nothing that Tank did thus far. Tank fought some real serious good fights, and I really feel like Tank. I really feel like Tank is going through some different things. Him having a daughter, him experiencing different feelings of love, and all of that stuff is kind of like a distracting right now. Along with him just probably tired of being involved with the antics of boxing, because everybody got a game, everybody got a pivotal point, everybody got some strategies that they're using of their own. And I know Tank probably looking around like, I'm the cash cow, but ain't nobody just going to cash out and, take out of my mouth without really doing nothing and really being there for me. So I kind of understand, his frustrations, along with along with him going through a lot of other things with Floyd Mayweather, his relationship, and the main thing is everything is about greed. Everybody so busy trying to fight for this money and get this money rolling in the right way that everybody is over there, they over here, the people moving through loops, doing things like this and like that. So it's like you really can't, you know what I'm saying? You really can't judge Tank in a Shakur Stevenson fight based upon Tank's actions or his last fight with Lamount Roach. Everybody is saying Lamount Roach beat Gervonta Tank Davis, which I would say this. Now and I'm gonna speak and giving it in layman terms like karate or if you was doing kung fu. If you got hit with a blow, during kung fu or boxing and you got hit with a blow, if the blow was a physical blow and it showed that it hit you, if the physical blow showed that it hit you, then you deserve the right to say, oh yeah, it can be a technical knockout, he took a knee. But if you jab at somebody and the jab doesn't even touch the person and it's just sweating the person's eyes and they take a knee, the judges are going to look at all of those factors. The councils of boxing are going to look at all of those factors. And if they deemed it important for Lamount Roach to win that match because he popped him in the eye and he took a knee and he felt he got away with it, that's what the scenario would have been. But it wasn't the scenario. It was more or less of Lamount Roach throwing a punch. It didn't touch Tank on a bob and weave, on a Lamount Roach combination. The punch didn't quite touch Gervonta's face. It just looked close on the camera because when they ran it back, it showed that he didn't hit him at all. So the fans out there who don't really know nothing about boxing and council rules and how judges and boardies and all that stuff and parties that get together to decide on that decision whether they should count that going forward or backwards, that's their job. Our job is to see what's going on during the fight. Now, do I think the fight was a draw? No, I don't think the fight was a draw because I had Tank winning in the early rounds. But I would say this, Lamount Roach put on the best fight against Tank that anyone has because he actually knows Tank. He actually been in the sparring ring with Tank a lot, like not years ago, recently, like been in the ring with Tank, and then the underground world spoke that fight into existence because that's something that the underground world and people from their metropolitan area they wanted to see that them two collide against each other. So it wasn't more of a match that was saying, oh yeah, we knew Lamount was going to do this and do that, because when Lamount lost to Jamel Harrington, he didn't have the skills that he has now. When Shakur Stevenson beat Jamel Harrington, you understand what I'm saying? When Shakur Stevenson beat Jamel Harrington, he already had an IQ thing that was over Lamount Roach then, but Lamount Roach is way better now. So we can't say because Lamount Roach lost to Jamel Harrington that Shakur Stevenson beat Tank because Tank and Lamount Roach had a draw. That's just not like how you just judge and run with stuff. It's just like if you're looking at it from that spectrum and that lens of an eye, then you're totally wrong. And a lot of people need to get they fight education on and together. Tank didn't leave the fight with Lamount Roach with no bruises, no lumps on his face. Lamount Roach was lumped up a little bit, a whole lot. Man, I ain't gonna even say a little bit. He had swollen eye, he was bruised up in his face and all that stuff. So even though there was a spectacular performance between both of those fighters, those two particular fighters, and even though we want to see a rematch, now to see a rematch, it has to make sense on every level as far as Tank career. Because Tank is putting everything that he has to put on the line. And is all the time Tank is putting everything on the line, doing all the heavy lifting for the boxers who ain't did no heavy lifting, like Shakur Stevenson, the Frank Martins, the what's the Davis kid name? Keyshawn Davis. Like, these guys are really coming in here beating up on weaklings, nobodies, and they even 10 times the side of them. And if we could say it like that, and they gonna criticize Tank on his performance like that, what about the fight when Shakur Stevenson fought at Della Santa Cruz? So we have to look at things like that. What happens when Shakur fought Edward Della Santa Cruz, and Shakur Stevenson ain't do nothing but basically run from this man. It wasn't no defense, no bob and weave, no swinging his head back and forth, no rope-a-dope action, none of that stuff. He just jabbed, got away from the power, beat him in certain situations. Not saying I'm not going to take nothing away from Shakur Stevenson, because he's not a slouch. He's not no one's sucker. He's not no one's play toy or play dummy, but it's just levels and things. And that level that Tank is on, I don't feel Shakur is there yet. That level and star power, that position that he took, yeah, Floyd Mayweather helped Tank to the top, but he didn't put him to the top. Tank got him to the top. You understand what I'm saying? So I really feel as though that Tank should find all of that. I really feel like Tank should find all of those things that factor into his life as distractions and all that stuff, and just find that old Tank. You understand what I'm saying? Sometimes that's what it is. Sometimes you can be in a situation where you getting money so long and you're so comfortable that you don't have an urge for nothing no more. A lot of these fighters out here, they're still hungry. He's okay. He has millions of dollars, real estate, everything is going on in his life. Cars, despite his situation of hit and run thing, that's an incident. I can't speak on that. That's just legal situations. That's what you have lawyers for. You know what I'm saying? Just like with his domestic violence case, that's what you have lawyers for. I can't sit up here and talk down on this man, and I can't talk up on the situation. I just got to leave it in the legal fields. Whatever plays out in the legal situation and whatever finalized and whatever agreed to, then we move forward there. But still in all, no human being should be standing there saying, I'm judging you on this and I'm judging you on that, when clearly Tank put the most work in around here. Tank knocked these guys out. Tank gave us these explosive fights. Tank bought out the celebrities and all that stuff. I have yet to see none of these other fighters in the 135-pound division build their fan base like that. And when I say that, what I mean, if you say, I'm from Newark, Shakur from Newark, right? If you look at the way that Shakur built his fan base, it's only Newark behind him, really. And Bud support him and stuff like that. But we just talking about in terms of fans. It's like, and then when it says like we the only ones behind them, and Newark, we come from a sweet, where a lot of people mastered the science of boxing, but nobody has ever capitalized in the spotlight of mastering the science of boxing. So there are different intricate levels and sequences that is going on out here that we don't see. But we got to stay objective and stay, looking at all of the facts and, all of the data and collected intel that's been presented thus far. Just like, Shakur Stevenson, he got dazed a little bit inside the ring. And I was happy to see him get dazed. Not because I wanted to see him get hurt or anything, but just to show you he's a human being, like we all a human being. Just like Lamount Roach, he hit Tank with a good shot. He didn't stumble Tank, but it made Tank think. And see, this is the realistic to the things that we need to see. We need to see fighters get hit with blows and see them get hurt a little bit to make sure that we are looking at the right things. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Because if we sitting up here thinking that if we sitting up here thinking that oh, just cause he did this and he did that and he did that over there and he did that over here, that equals this over here. That's not what it is. Just like if we look at Bud Crawford and Earl Spence, for years, 5 years it was brewing between him and Crawford. And even if they say Earl Spence was saying, oh, on this side of the street and that side of the street, and everybody knew Crawford could have did that, Crawford wasn't as strong as he was 5 years previous before. And I'm not crediting, that's not a stand because, the first thing first, Crawford whooped Earl Spence's body, whooped him. But what I am going to say is the fact that sometimes we wait too long to get what we want. Us as fight fans, us as the boxing world, us as promoters who's negotiating things, y'all waiting too long to getting certain fights made. Once a person has another person on their agenda, this should be immediately followed up with negotiations, immediately trying to pair and go with the momentum of what's being said on all of the social media sites and platforms. You understand what I'm saying? So, but speaking on a consensus of okay, Earl Spence and Crawford, they were supposed to fight, but it took them a while to fight. And I'm referencing all of this to Shakur and Tank because it's pretty much like the same scenario, just Shakur doesn't have the power that Crawford has, and Earl Spence doesn't have the IQ that Tank has. So, I could say that Crawford has the same IQ as Shakur, but Earl Spence doesn't have the IQ as Tank. So we could just, dance around those equations. You understand what I'm saying? So basically what I'm saying now is, being that Shakur has IQ, Tank has IQ, Tank has power and IQ. Shakur has what? The ability to not get hit with an IQ? It's kind of strange, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of strange for people to be pushing a narrative, oh, Shakur is number one now, Tank is number two because he fought a guy this one particular time and didn't run. He actually gave us a performance that we've been waiting for. You understand what I'm saying? And even Bud Crawford, at the ring telling them step around, coaching like he coached that Earl Spence fight, Shakur Stevenson. But at the same time, there's nobody to coach you when you're getting hit with power shots. That's what Tank said. All that running around, eventually you got to get hit. So what do you do when you get hit by somebody who brings calculated pressure? You understand what I'm saying? Who brings calculated pressure. When I seen Lamount Roach fight Tank, he fought Tank off of his momentum, meaning everything Tank was coming forward with, he created defense mechanisms for that. That's not going to be the same scenario in every fight. You understand what I'm saying? Shakur Stevenson, yes, you're a great boxer in this, but you lack power. You lack aggression. You lack attitude. You understand what I'm saying? There's a lot of things in your tool shed that you don't have yet. You're too much of a nice guy. You're too friendly. You're not vicious enough. So to put you in a category, Shakur Stevenson, with vicious guys like Lamount Roach, Abdullah Mason, I'm not going to say Devin Haney because Devin Haney, and I'm gonna make this a note. Devin Haney's been a big boy for a long time. He was forcing himself to that 135. So a lot of people that he was beating was purely because he was just bigger than them. It wasn't about a talent thing with Devin Haney. That's why Tank told him that Ryan Garcia had one hand. That one hand, that's all he had to look out for. That one hand knocked Devin Haney out. And he's supposed to have all of this defense. Even Roger Mayweather said that Devin Haney was better than Tank and all this stuff. He got knocked out by Ryan Garcia, who's a influencer. You understand what I'm saying? He's not even really a pro boxer. he has amateur background boxing, but he's not a pro boxer. He's not a boxer that trains to be a boxer. He's just a boxer that, what you would say, learned a few tricks and stuff and jumped inside the ring and came up with stuff. So when you look at that part of the ground aspect, you pretty much see that there's nothing going on with that. You understand what I'm saying? But I just want to know the crowd response on this type of conversation, because realistically to me, I just think all of the people at 135, whether they got wins, losses, draws, whatever it is, they all need to fight each other. So the way I would be looking at it, if motherfuckers wanted to be the Duke of that division, then what they should be really trying to do is, if you're trying to be the Duke of your division, oh, what was going on over there? Oh, I'm only make this much over this fight, but fuck it, start fighting. Everybody just start getting right. Everybody just start getting busy. Everybody just start getting active. Like, you understand what I'm saying? So that way, it'll stop all of the fans from saying, oh, this would have happened and that would have happened. And it's a pain in the ass to talk to somebody and they think that they know something that is really not. All we got to do is see these guys fight. We need to see all these guys fight. And shout out to all the guys that are out there trying to do their best, like Shakur, Tank, Devin, Ryan Garcia, Abdullah Mason, Keyshawn Davis, even the one who just knocked out the kid from Philly, who they said Shakur was going to fight him and he backed out of the fight. Shouts out to all those guys. But one thing's for sure, they all need to fight. And we ain't even going to forget about Carmel Moulton, another one of Floyd Mayweather's prodigies. We want to see him fight real people too. Not just Mexicans and Spanish people from countries with different backgrounds. No, we want to see y'all fight the in-tune rhythm fighters. We want to see y'all fight these rhythm fighters. So until then, I feel as though Tank still remains at the top of this food chain. It's just a process of everybody all intertwining with each other. So thank you for tapping into the channel. This is Hottie Coven 6764. I would like people to like, comment, subscribe, check the video out, hear what's going on, tell me what y'all think. Hit the comment section, the like section, talk about your favorite fighters and what his points is, his aspects, and I will get in the comments with y'all. Ciao.